We'll be sending TeamNut to the Crucible. TeamNut, right now, have to pull off the reverse sweep.
And Tetra, TeamNut, they have had to go through the Crucible before. Actually, last phase, they had to punch their way back into Pro Division. They were successful doing so. The question is, and the risk always remains, can they do it again? We're not sure what the current state of Chinese Open Division is, but there are always teams hungry. There's always teams reinforced by former HGC Pro players that might be able to make it. There is such a flux of teams, you know, dropping out, dropping in, coming in HGC China, so the survival is by no means a given. On the flip side, though, Tetra, KT, they're no strangers to fighting in the Crucible themselves, so they know what it feels like. They know how badly they want to escape that situation.
Yeah, in fact, KT, the only team to go to the Crucible and then make it back into HGC. I actually don't believe that any other team has managed that in any HGC region.
That is a very interesting thought.
Right?
We will probably have to do some research, but I can't think of any teams, because normally the teams disband very quickly and they lose the name.
Yeah. Like, it might just be because they disbanded and refought, a different team just took the name.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, unless someone in chat can correct me, I'm pretty sure that this is the only region that's happened in.
All right. Well, I have a little happy spinning circle. All right.
Me too.
Let's
I'm
actually
glad it's not me.
Let's double check our latency here real quick, because maybe we're both jumping to the same now.
16.48.
Okay, that is way too high for me.
Okay, yeah, coming down to you.
Let's resync here real quick.
Come on now. Come on.
I'm sitting at 8 seconds. That should be doable for you, I think.
Hopefully. I'm currently stuck at around 11, 10. Oh, hang on. It's getting lower. It's getting there.
Okay. I think I've stabilized at a solid 7 seconds. But it keeps spinning.
That's really low.
It keeps spinning for me now as well. Sorry, guys. We're casting off a clean feed for those of you who don't know what's going on. And sometimes when there's a little bit of a spike, you know, from the broadcast being shot in China, getting sent all over to Europe, you're going to have to make sure that we're on the same page. Otherwise, Tetra might be spoiling it for you in a team fight, or the other way around.
Yeah. All right, now I can't seem to get below, like,
oh, my latency is super high right now. Like,
what is it?
Yeah. Right now it's 10-9, 11 seconds.
Okay, let me try and get down to that. Jesus, 3? What the hell happened there? Well, I was on 3 seconds for a second. All right, let me try and get up to 10 now.
Yeah, I think it's like straight up 10, now jumping over to 11. Oh, man.
Wait, why is mine gone low the second yours starts going high?
Okay, mine is low now as well. I think
right,
I finally made it past. So what are you sitting at?
5.9.
That'll
6.4.
do. That'll do.
6.4 now.
I'm sitting at 5.8.
Over half a second. I'll like do one more. That's worse.
6.2.
5.4. 6.2. Hang on. 6.02. Close enough. As
Nice.
we move in. Cassia Jada being locked in for KT. This time Tyrande on the side of TeamNut, and Diablo is banned. This is very much a game of chess where TeamNut continue to take away the toys of KT. And KT is the question of, do they have a regular toy chest or a Mary Poppins toy chest?
The thing is, Tyrande is not very picky, is she? I mean, she probably won't give Malfurion away that easily, but in terms of actual in-game harmony and synergy, there are several warriors that she can work with. The infamous Miranda combo, you know, you see Muradin plus Tyrande here, is still very powerful, and she could have even had an ETC in there as well. You know, ETC providing the power-up, the power slide, stun, and then she can follow up that with a Lunar Flare. So yeah, many warriors with stuns in particular that work very well with Tyrande.
I don't know if you've seen the same thing I have, but this is going to suck.
Say what?
The fact that there is now a Malthael on the team with a player called Malthael, and he's not playing it. This is going to be a nightmare.
Is he not playing it?
And there's a nightmare on that team as well, so we can't even say it's a nightmare, because he's not on the nightmare, and it's Dia playing it. So
TeamNut, please, what are you doing?
Well, Tyrael is the last pick for KT, so their reaction to this large amount of AoE and the little bit of CC, add some shielding, add some unstoppables and intangibles. This could be pretty effective. That Tyrael might be the home run they need, but this is my favorite draft of TeamNut so far.
That it is. Tyrande alone basically got me sold. Toriel, of course, is always interesting. The question is, can they execute it? It all comes down to really good shot calling, really good synergy as well with the sanctifications. They can't be off. They need to be timed very well. And Tyrande, Muradin, there's a lot of stuff that can interrupt the Toriel and prevent him from casting. Question is, can TeamNut themselves execute it? And I'm starting to get a little worried about communication and team morale as well, because I can already see Malthael getting a little nervous here, not playing his favorite hero. Headsets are not always acting up as they should be.
Yeah, this is true. Man, like, they certainly do have a, like I said, I like their draft more, especially if they go for a last rites. I think that could just be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Assuming they can get through this Tyrael. But TeamNut, momentum's not in their favor. KT, they still have a pretty reasonable draft in terms of assassins especially. I'm a little scared.
I'm a little scared as well. I think TeamNut have nailed that draft. The question is, can they utilize all that strength, all the strength they have mustered, and carry their way back into this series? They're currently down 0-2. Ladies and gentlemen, channel your energy for the survival of TeamNut, currently in the blue trunks on the left-hand side on Dragonshire, and they're represented by Mercy, Atui, Malthael, Nightmare, and Dia.
And on the right, it is KT, 2-0 up with TWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad. And Kiaru back on that Yrel was a menace in game number 1, but Timeless on a much less aggressive and much less CC heavy assassin this time. And as such, we see the adjustment coming in from the Tyrande. We see that Kaldori resistance.
Yep. Spell resistance and the spell protection, of course, is the key to victory here against Jaina. And even to a certain amount, Cassia as well, who went for a Thunderstroke build. So much more of her damage with this build is, you know, derives from the fact that she's hurling those Thunder Spears at her opponents, and those cause ability damage. So I don't hate it at all. Fear the Reaper coming in for Malthael here, by the way, which means he's going to have more mobility during a team fight. He can actually, you know, become impassable. Sorry, he can actually become passable. There we go. So he can dive through minions, through enemies, and get some movement speed as well.
Is there a term for that effect in heroes? Like, it just cannot be bodybot or can pass through enemy heroes? Like, I'd assume it would be intangible. That would be my...
Yeah. Or maybe no collision. I think collision is also sometimes a term, but I would actually have to read the tooltip right now as it said. I think it just passes through units. I think that's what it says.
Activate to increase movement speed and pass through other units.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There we go.
So,
non-body blockable.
That would be the best one. We can all agree on that. Mercenaries being picked up here by TeamNut. Timeless is going to pop in and say hello, but he is but a Tyrael, and therefore I like that. Just like, yeah, you're acting like you have friends, but we know you have no friends here, as we are going to see a friends coming up.
Oh, he's going to interrupt that one.
Instead, he's got lots of friends here, as we see them fight in, but Nightmare from over the wall trying to get into a 4 versus 3 with TWT. Too late, and that's a double kill. TeamNut this time off to a flying start, and you know what that came from? That rotation only came in time because Tyrande's Owl spotted the rotation a couple seconds earlier than they would have otherwise.
And that was basically from start to finish a really poor decision on the side of KT. Like, the moment you see Muradin and Malthael in there, there's absolutely no way you can get them off the platform as long as you don't have your full 5-man team unit assembled, right? Malthael is going to continue to heal. Then we have Muradin, who is tanky, you know, innately already. That Stormbolt actually missing, but is Lotus going to make it? No, he's not. Hanzo takes Cassia out here. Yeah, so an astounding amount of mistakes coming in from KT, whether it's them just, you know, underestimating their opponents, getting a little too reckless, or riding high a little bit on that early momentum. They really need to calm their horses a little bit because they can't get away with anything, with everything in that series.
So now that with Nightmare hovering in the bush, checking for bot lane rotations while the rest of his team grabs a Bruiser Camp. KT not even had the chance to get their own Bruiser Camp here, as well they've been sort of exploded several times now when they tried to grab their opponent's Bruiser Camp, which, as we all saw, did not go according to plan. Cassia adjusting at level 4, Inner Light coming in here, blinding Tyrande is a very good way to actually reduce her healing output.
That is true. If you blind Tyrande and if you prevent her from landing those auto attacks connects, then no longer will she get the healing reduction, as you said. So whether that's going to be used on Raynor or Tyrande remains to be seen. But even in theory, a Malthael could suffer as well, because if he's blinded, he can't really spread his trait as much, which results in less healing overall. So pretty cool talent. Let's see how impactful, how effective it's going to be in those fights. Kiaru, man, I see those are those plays that you really can't understand. Like, he should have had vision early enough that the reinforcements were coming for the enemy team, and he uses this jump aggressively to stay in the fight.
He didn't know. He actually lost he lost it, and he didn't have the vision, and he was trying to bait in the Malthael, and he was doing a fantastic job because Jaina was actually hiding out of vision as well. He was trying to bait Malthael to stay a little bit too long, and then Jaina just drops a single combo and he's dead. But they didn't have the vision. They shouldn't have taken that risk without the vision. So it was the lack of vision that was the problem, as opposed to actually having the vision.
All right, double root coming in here. TWT was in a little bit of a pinch there as well. It looks like one shrine remains in control of TeamNut and KT for now. Kiaru, round 2 fight here around that shrine. In a straight up 1 versus 1 without minions for Dia to sap life from, I think Kiaru might actually have pretty good cards. Yep, as long as his jumps connect, which is the main source of damage against enemy heroes.
Die alone is a good ability.
Oh, I want to watch that fight.
It's such a good ability. Able to raid him down. Nicely done. A counter invade, round 2. Yeah, get out of there, Kiaru. You need to be careful. Nightmare's running out of health. Numbers advantage in favor, but in comes Dia. It's going to be Yorel who falls first, diving in with such low health. A beautiful scroll of sealing.
Out of mana.
Nightmare, he is invincible thanks to that level 7 of Tyrande. We see the Tyrant explosion, and it gets nothing.
And see, those are those fights in which Tyrande just excels. As soon as she doesn't get pressured, as soon as, you know, she has free reign, continues to rein in those auto attacks with a healing reduction, she's going to be absolute bonkers. And you also have to wonder, you brought it up during that commentary there, why did Kiaru go back in immediately? He still was wounded from that 1 versus 1 against Malthael. The healing was ticking, you know, from the healing fountain. If he had delayed this engagement by 1 second, maybe he would have been in a better position. So KT playing very unfocused right now and going for a lot of unnecessary deaths. And 7-0 already, Tetcher.
7-0 over a level advantage right now, as we see TeamNut hit level 10. They've got the DK, they're just crushing through the mid lane, ignoring everything. Finally, they're going to... Actually, it's still going in mid. I thought it would rotate to bot to get the front line there as well. But we see level 10 online, the Dragon's Arrow, Hyperion Avatar, the Shadow Stalk again for Tyrande, and Malthael currently hiding. He was not with his team there, so did not go for the last rights, which might have secured them a stack there. But like you've said, he wasn't with the team, so wouldn't have been able to benefit from it.
All right, that was a quick blow up there onto Cassia. Of course, with that Lunar Blaze at level 4, the additional range that Tyrande can utilize is just so powerful. You actually also mess with your opponent's mindset sometimes, right? They're not expecting you to land that Lunar Flare because they think themselves safe in a safe distance, but nope, Tyrande now can bridge over that gap and come with those surprise lockdowns. Super cool to see. And now with a quad mercenary push, this might already be very lethal and dangerous for KT. Level 10, their own level 10 is still miles away.
Nightmare being a fantastic body blocking tool here. And it looks like so far this strategy of TeamNut to just slowly and methodically take away the tools of KT, it took them right to the brink of defeat as they're still 2-0 down in this series. They can't afford to make any mistakes, but it finally looks like they have been able to remove enough tools from KT that they've been able to gain a footing.
And also KT did go for those big wonky X factors like Ethereal. It's always so risky to pick Ethereal when there's other warriors that are a little safer to pick. For example, that Johanna. I think Timeless really plays so well on Johanna. She offers a little more in the early game, stronger rotations. She's very safe to play in general because of her Iron Skin. And look at what KT does here. They're invading, trying to go for the unexpected play. And it looks like they read their opponents correctly because they're still focusing onto the bottom lane. However, they need to take this Merc camp fast and they need to teleport back immediately. Malthael could even go for a sneaky play and try to interrupt these teleports, but looks like he is trying to play it safe for now.
Oh man, Hyperion committed to this. Gonna get two Yamatos off there. They get the counter knockback, but Malthael getting slowed by that water elemental. He is the one being chased out, but look at how healthy he is. So much of that is due to that Caldori resistance coming in from Atui that they're able to pull back with almost no difficulties at all. The only thing KT got from that is safing the keep, which they might not even do if they don't react. There we go, bad turns around. And the fact that they do have counter pressure in the top lane. Instead, though, the turnaround comes in, Dragon Arrow lands onto multiple members. Good sanctification, though. That's going to allow KT to maybe get the turnaround. And this is going to be a full retrieve. Ball lightning, max value there.
Yeah, that was really strong value, but do they have the lockdown to keep anyone in their vicinity? I don't think they have. So a constant back and forth. I thought this looked really grim for KT, but a solid sanctification coming in from Tylims to really save the day for now. But now look at that. They brought themselves into that horseshoe. The burst damage is real onto Raynor. It's a 5 versus 4 all of a sudden for KT.
Raynor's not a frontliner. Good, Jesus, that was a good move. That was a good Luna Flare there. But now it is a 5 versus 4. A talent down, but it's not a necessary talent. And right now, TeamNut, they just got bodied due to Raynor overstepping.
Sometimes when you have that 2-3 level lead, you tend to get a little greedy. You tend to get a little overconfident here. Now look at both solo laners, Irel and Malthael, already trying to recapture the top shrine, and bottom even now being held by 3 members of TeamNut. Look at how tanky Muradin is with that Caldari resistance. Good luck trying to damage him with Jaina and Cassia up to this point.
Healing Statics also online as well. This matchup is still happening in the top lane, and Last Rites is on cooldown, so I think he used it.
I think that's probably how he got Kiaro down in the first place.
Yeah, the Ardent Defender is also on cooldown as well. Yeah. Very high cooldown, so I assumed he had to Ardent Defender the last rights there. So that fight will likely continue for a while. Double channel is interrupted thanks to Kiara in the top lane, and sensibly, Dia is going to back up. He was able to... He lost vision on members of KT, so as such, made the safe move. In the meantime, the rest of his team decides to grab advantages elsewhere on the map.
And this is actually not too bad of a spot for KT to be in all of a sudden. As long as they, as long as they hold the bottom lane and don't lose the keep, they're going to be 13. They can fight on even terms then, and maybe come back in from there. Turiel, super aggressive in there, has the sanctification ready. Look at that Raynor overstaying here and shooting the Hyperion to maybe snipe down that keep. But are they going to lose the team fight because of it?
He's tanking through. They turn it round. Malthael in the backline. Beautiful last rights, but Lotus tanking through thanks to the shield of the Decade. But it's going to be Tyrael the first to drop. Kiara dropping low as well. Remember, he doesn't have the Ardent Defender because he used it against Malthael as they charge through. Lotus is going to be the last to drop in this fight. Bad will escape, but everyone else is down. 4 people dead, and a Siege Giant camp coming in with them. TeamNut are going to make an attempt for core.
And the core they shall receive. I feel like the core racing isn't really the... Oh, actually, it's amazing. Scratch that. With Raynor, Tyrande, Hanzo, they're probably going to be able to snipe it down.
Look, that still took a long time. Nearly everyone's back already, but it's still enough is what it is, as that is going to be game number 3 going over to TeamNut.
That was a really good hold by the TeamNut. I mean, they're still in the series up to this point. They played pretty flawlessly from start to finish. They utilized Tyrande very efficiently themselves, and my personal MVP was Malthael, the hero, not the player, mind you, because Raynor, who was played by Malthael, and now it gets really confusing, I know, actually had a couple of hiccups, almost costing the game, by, overstaying his welcome, staying too close to the enemy team. He got burst down by Jaina immediately. So yeah, while Malthael held the top lane very nicely against Irel, in my opinion, Raynor... solid performance for the most part, especially that keep snipe at the end was very cute, but gotta be a little safe.